What's going on, everybody? It's Afro Think Tank. I found this man who figured out who he was. And he knows, even though he speaks Spanish, he is not a Latino. Because Latinos, alright, Latin is on the other side of the planet. So Central America and South America, all you Mexicans, Salvadorians, Puerto Rican, none of y'all is Latin. Alright? Y'all not from the Latin area. Okay? You speak your colonizer's language. You take on your colonizer's economic culture, and you also celebrate and participate in African culture, which is the greatest part of your Latin culture. Your food, y'all wasn't eating rice. You Indians weren't eating rice, all right, or okra, or tomatoes, or none of that shit that makes y'all Latin food Latin. It's really just African food mixed with a little bit of indigenous Indian food, mixed with the bland freaking white people food who colonized you guys, all right. But it's mostly the one with the food with the flavors. It's all African food. The beans, the rice, beans and rice, that's African. That's West African, not y'all. You guys are Indians, all right? And this guy knows he's an Indian. He knows he's not a Latin. The whole idea of Latino culture is bullshit because you guys y'all only share a language, which is the languages of your colonizers. That's it. Y'all don't got the same culture for real. Puerto Ricans and Mexicans got the same culture. The Salvadorians and Venezuelans don't got the same culture. Y'all just speak the same language. Y'all ain't got the same culture. Y'all not unified. Y'all don't really get along with each other. Y'all fight amongst each other. So there's no unity amongst the different groups of Latinos because y'all all got your own ops within the language-speaking ethnic group that y'all have created or that the white people created for you guys. You guys are the workers and the slaves of white people. That's what you are. You guys inherited, all right, what white colonizers have given you. And you guys are proud of that shit. You guys are very proud of your colonizers' culture. But you practice those African people's culture who you actively try to pretend like you're better than. All your music, which is a major part of culture, is African music. All your dances, which is part of your culture, is African dances. All your food that got flavor and people actually eat is African food. When you go to Chipotle's, you're not eating quasi-commercialized, Americanized, goddamn Mexican food or anything like that. You're eating African food repurposed 2-3 times over is what you're doing, all right? And I think it's a shame that so many of you guys disregard your Native American culture, right? The fact that you allow these white savage barbarians to tell you that you are illegal in your own homeland. Can you imagine that? These white people from Europe, all right, the real Latins tell you, right, that you don't belong here in your actual indigenous homeland. Now, a lot of y'all are mixed up with your white colonizers because that white man was taking advantage of your women, your Indian women, along with my black women, all right, my African women. That's where you get your light skin from, all right. That's where you get to, and you look at your superstars. Look at all your actors and your singers. They're all white Europeans, all right, singing black music, dancing black music, dancing black dances, eating black food. Why hating on black people? And you guys, you mosquitoes, pretend like you white. And there's never been a time in history where them goddamn Anglo-Saxon, English-speaking, or Francophone-speaking white folk ever accepted you as anything but a second and third class citizen. Ever. You get zero respect from them. Zero. Hell, even the goddamn super, all the way 100% white Spanish-speaking Spanish people don't get respect from the English-speaking Anglo-Saxon barbarians. You know why? Because them Spanish-speaking Europeans and them English and French-speaking Europeans are mortal enemies. And they do not accept each other, for the most part. They do not. But anyway, I'm going to let this man who knows who he is, which is an Indian, all right, who has colonizer blood in him and probably got some African blood in him that gave him his flavor. That's probably where he got all his revolutionary mindset from, I'm pretty sure. That's where he got it from. He got some black in him somewhere, for sure. All right? But he knows who he is. And many of you Latinos need to figure out who you are, which is not a Latino, a Native American that's been mixed up with your white colonizer and your African brothers and sisters who you don't treat like brothers and sisters, but you enjoy all the culture that them Africans brought you. Anyway, you tell me what you think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
We are not Latino. We are not Hispanic. First of all, Latinos are Europeans, colonial labels, and also a European identity that originated in the Roman Empire and originated of the descendants of the Roman. For example, you have Latin Europe. Latin Europe means the French, the Portuguese, the Spanish, the Romanians, the Italians, the Sardinians, the or the people from Corsica, those are Latinos. Those are the real Latins. If you don't believe me, go Google Latin Europe, and you're gonna find the Latin Union. The Latin Union is the descendants of the Roman Empire who trying to form a coalition of countries in Europe because they have a commonality. It was later on in the late 1800s, early 1900s, that the French started pushing the identity of Latinidad or Latino in the Americas. We didn't choose these labels. Those labels were chosen by imperial and colonial governments like the French, who were trying to take over Mexico in the early 1800s, like Maximilian, where he invaded Mexico and tried to take it, and the Mexicans kicked him out, resisting the Latinaje identity because they were trying to make us into Latinos. Mexico was one of the countries that kicked the French out, so remember that. So why are you accepting colonial identities is nonsense? Why are you accepting a colonial label? How come you are accepting Hispanic? Another thing, Hispanic, you means property of Spain. Are you property still? Do you not fight for your freedom? Mexicans, Central Americans, South Americans fought the Spaniards to kick them out from this continent. And then you call yourself them? That doesn't make no sense. You need to call yourself your own identity, especially if you look indigenous, you look mestizo, you look mixed. You are indigenous to the Americas. You're not indigenous to Europe. You're not indigenous to any other place. You originate here, and your customs, your food, your traditions came from these lands. The motherland is the Americas, not Europe, not Spain. We did not come from Spain. Their motherland is here. It's either Central America, Mexico, or North America or South America. That's where your people came from. Your people did not cross an ocean to get here. Your people were invaded by Europeans. Your people were raped. Your people were mixed in, forced through mestizaje, through cleaning of bloodlines. We did not choose to be like them. We did not choose to speak Spanish. Spanish was forced on us, and now we need to reclaim our identity. So take it back. Stop believing the lies. Stop believing the colonial systems. Take your identity back. Take care.
Sorry guys, we're not Latinos. And before you get mad, let me explain exactly why. What unites Hispanic America today is not an indigenous identity. What unites us is our Hispanic inheritance. We speak Spanish. We share a Catholic tradition. We have La Virgen de Guadalupe. We have inherited legal systems, institutions, and a cultural framework from Spain. That's the common denominator. Before 1492, there was no shared indigenous identity across the Americas. The different native tribes considered themselves distinct peoples, often rivals, often at war with one another. They did not see themselves as one civilization, much less as brothers. So when the countries of Hispanic America call ourselves brothers, Mexicanos, Colombianos, Venezolanos, Argentinos, Chilenos, Cubanos, that bond does not come from the indigenous world. That bond comes from our Hispanic identity. That is the common denominator. Historically, the accurate term for our region is Hispanoamerica, the land shaped by Spanish civilization. If you want to include Brazil, the correct term is Iberoamerica, referring to the Iberian Peninsula. So where does Latin America come from? Most of the Hispanic world became independent roughly between 1810 and 1825. A few decades later, in the mid-19th century, France, then a major global power, intervened politically, culturally, and militarily, most famously in Mexico from 1862 to 1867. During this period, French intellectuals and statesmen promoted a new idea, that France and the former Spanish colonies belonged to the same Latin family. Why? Because French, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian all descend from Latin, and these societies were historically Catholic. This idea was popularized by Napoleon III, not to describe history accurately, but to serve geopolitical goals, to distance the region from Spain, to counter Anglo-Protestant influence from the north, and to justify French leadership in the Americas. That's when the term Latin America took hold, and after France withdrew, the term didn't disappear. It was adopted and normalized by the United States in diplomacy, academia, and foreign policy, because it neatly divided the hemisphere into Anglo-America, led by the United States, and a vague Latin America, detached from its Hispanic roots. And here's the problem. We do not speak Latin. We are not Latins in the ancient sense. Latin is the origin of our language, not our identity. Spaniards, Portuguese, French, and Italians can reasonably be called Latins. But we are Hispanos, people formed through Spanish civilization in the Americas. Calling us Latinos blurs that origin. It detaches us from our historical mother culture. It replaces it with a vague label that fits modern geopolitics better than historical reality. And this matters because when a people lose clarity about where they came from, they become easier to redefine, fragment, and manipulate. So sorry, but no, we are not Latin America. Hispanoamerica is the accurate term. Iberoamerica works too. Because what connects us is not an indigenous past, at least not a common one, but a shared Hispanic civilization that shaped our identity. And once you understand that, you start seeing our history and our present very differently. Thank you for watching.
All the dummies in my last video saying that all Latinos are mixed, every time y'all say that, y'all just erasing a whole group, like 4 groups of people. Y'all literally erasing the indigenous Latinos. Y'all literally erasing the fully black Latinos. Y'all fully erasing the fully white Latinos. And y'all are erasing the Asian Latinos. Have y'all forgot that there were Asian Latinos? Have you fucking forgot that? Like, historically, you can say that Latinos were considered mixed, yeah, because our colonizers was literally encouraging all the black with the white to mix together to make the mixed people, literally. So, obviously, historically, yeah, but we're not in those historical times no more, aren't we? We're in different times now, are we not? Where there's Afro-Latinos that are fully black, okay? We're not in colonization no more. So, the fact that somehow even still have this mindset that all Latinos are mixed, when not even back then it was accurate. So let's start. You forgot that when they brought the Africans over here, some of them fucking ran away so they won't be enslaved. Had you forgot about that too? There's literally stories about this. You can literally fucking look it up. Are we okay? And the fact that we're in today, present time, still motherfucking saying all Latinos are mixed, like there isn't fully black Latinos, there isn't fully Asian Latinos, there isn't fully indigenous Latinos, and there's fully white Latinos. Are y'all dumb? And then y'all wonder why people say the shit they say about Latinos. Y'all motherfuckers still got colonizer mindset. That's colonizer mindset. Colonizer mindset. You want to be fucking white so bad, that's the problem.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.